So questions are still coming in about the sugar diet, and I want to address this from a little bit of a different perspective. Now, the sugar diet is being talked about in a lot of different areas, but oftentimes you got to consider the source. As someone who's been around this space for a long time, Mark Bell puts out wonderful content. Only a few years ago, he was touting the war on carbs and how carbohydrates were the enemy based on the science. Then he talked about the carnivore diet and how you should be eating, a carnivore style diet if you want to get shredded. Now he's talking about a sugar-based diet. What do all these have in common? They're extreme. And why are extreme diets exciting? Well, because if it's something you've never done before, it promises kind of a different result, right? And honestly, all of the time that they're talking about these diets, whether it's carnivore, whether it's fasting, whether it's the sugar diet, there's always science that they can fit into the narrative that allows them to kind of push the topic and get some attention. The real issue I have with any of these approaches is that what happens when we take away the extremism of dieting and just do a diet that makes sense? What if we just hit the evidence-based numbers for protein, for carbs, and for fats? Unfortunately, it's not very sexy to just have a nice flexible approach and hit your macronutrients, which is something I talked about on Mark's podcast a few years ago. This is me at 49 years old, lifetime natural. The problem with a diet, like a sugar diet, where they're getting such low fat, is that you need to be on male hormones or you're not going to produce the proper hormones to look like you want to look, okay? The problem with the carnivore diet is that you're not going to be getting enough carbohydrates to perform well enough in the gym to build muscle without exogenous hormones, okay? So I see the value in all these diets because they give people a reason to want to change. But when you find an approach that allows you to eat steak and sugar, I have never had a problem with sugar, never had a problem with steak, never had a problem with carbs, never had a problem with fats. Used in the right proportions, they are all necessary and they are all beneficial. You can look and feel great with a nice balanced approach. You don't have to be extreme. You don't have to be keto. You don't have to be carnivore. You don't have to do the sugar diet. I don't actually know if anyone's actually doing this or if it's just something that I'm getting asked about a lot. But really, if you find a diet that you can stick to and you enjoy, then do that. But stick to the evidence-based amounts that you need for the proteins, for the carbs, and the fats to look and feel your best. And that's really going to get you the best results. But if you want to try something fun, try something different, go carnivore, go keto, I have nothing against it. I've just found I don't need to be drastic.